Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick preview of the Sony A9. This is the latest member of Sony's E-mount full-frame lineup of cameras, and arguably the best offering in their DI group they have ever made. A real push against Nikon and Canon to prove that really there is no better digital imaging company out there, even for professionals. Now, of course, this is the A7R Mark II, where it really all began when it came to killer features that I think gave most pros out there, not just prosumers, amateurs, all of basically the public, a look at what Sony could really do, and also in a new class in terms of cost. But now we've got, as I move this A7R Mark II over to the left, the Sony A9, and priced at $4,500. I'm going to show it to you right now. This camera launches on May 25th. Pre-orders begin on April 21st. And very exciting. You're looking again at $4,500 US for a camera that is a little bit larger than the A7R Mark II that I was just sharing with all of you, but has infinitely more capability for pros. And again, it's really the culmination of what Sony has been doing specifically within their DI business, where they constantly update different products and then roll those updates into their new offering. So you can see that is the body right there, very similar to what we have with the A7R Mark II. And this is just a quick rundown of the specifications. 24.2 megapixel full-frame sensor. Of course, they're still using the Bionz X processor for imaging. It is stacked, by the way, and one of the biggest things that I've noticed from all of the press releases I've seen is that it appears there is no rolling shutter problem with this camera. Now, of course, until I get it in May, end of May, I won't know that for sure, but Sony doesn't seem to be pushing that agenda, and I really believe they should. Beyond that, very important, we've got a blackout-free quad VGA OLED EVF. That is twice the effective resolution of the A7R Mark II's EVF, so that's the highest res OLED EVF on the market. So if you like to shoot using an electronic viewfinder, this thing should be a pleasure. 3-inch, 1.44 million dot tilting touchscreen LCD. So here we've got the touchscreen LCD from the A6500 making its way over to the full-frame brethren. Of course, internal UHD 4K video recording at 30p, 20 frames per second shooting. Now, this is really, again, another trickle down from the A6500, that nearly zero buffer. You can actually shoot at 20 frames per second in RAW, I believe up to 241 frames consecutively. JPEG, it's over 300. So if you've been waiting for a Sony full-frame camera that could do what the A6500 can, you have found definitely the product here. So sports photographers are going to like what the A9 has to offer. And then also critical, 693 points of phase detection. That's 93% of the sensor is covered by phase detection autofocusing that Sony claims is their fastest to date, and I expect it is. We still have that great 5-axis steady shot built into the body, which is great if you're adapting lenses or using native lenses, because most of your footage, at least especially video, is going to look like it's not handheld, which is a fantastic thing. And then on the still imaging side, of course, you gain a few steps. Magnesium alloy body, dual SD card slots. A lot of users have been waiting for this, including myself, and especially professionals. Now you have that capability. Also, something not mentioned right here in the product rundown, kind of like the lack of rolling shutter. And yes, this is Sony Alpha Rumors, for those of you that are wondering. A great site for rumors. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. But if you are a Sony DI fan, then you are going to defer to them quite often to see what's cooking. One of the other things not mentioned, other than the rundown that I just did, is that we do have a new battery on board as well, which gets Sony's claiming a little bit more than double the performance of previous generations. Now, as far as video overheating, I don't anticipate there will be any. And the real question remains, will Sony be releasing an A9R? Because again, we are looking at a 24.2 megapixel full-frame A9, and if history serves us, then we likely, serves as a good indicator, we likely will see a higher resolution A9R. Remember, this is not replacing or supplanting the A7 series, or, the A7R Mark II that I just showed you, the camera right here, as it comes back into normal view. It's another line, a professional grade that Sony is kicking in. And also Sony today announced a new E-mount G Master Series 100 to 400 millimeter lens for $2,500 US, which I think is also very exciting. And of course, a new A9 battery grip, all sorts of accessories for the A9, because we've got a whole new thing. Also, there is an Ethernet port. I don't want to forget that on this camera as well. So for those of you that have been waiting for a better way than micro USB to tether to this camera, Ethernet is going to be your option. So in my opinion, they've kind of checked all the boxes, and they've come up with a camera that should be something that pleases professionals, at least in my opinion, because it really does offer everything and more that you could want from a full-frame E-mount model. And it really does appear to be, a direct product of Sony, once again, listening to consumers, combining their best technology into the next, cycle of their offerings. And you're looking at it right there. So very similar looking, again, to the A7R Mark II, but very different in terms of feature set, battery capacity, continuous shooting, autofocus system finally being at the next level for sports photographers. I think that's why this is being launched with that 100 to 400 millimeter lens. And just really excited to eventually get this in my hands and see how it performs compared to the A7R Mark II. But I think you already know what to expect, and that's because the camera seems to be the new beast on the block to beat. So watch out, Canon and Nikon. Sony has finally dropped a camera that I think it's going to be very difficult to compete with, no matter who you are in the industry. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button, and as usual, please feel free to subscribe. Later.